So I want to kick off this video and say Happy New Year's, depending on when you're watching this video. Happy 2025 to everybody that's watching this. But I want to just share my perspective on, a few hard times that I've gone through and then you might be going through. I feel it's very important to recognize when there is a problem and how to overcome it. For me in particular, it was depression and alcohol. I was an alcoholic. I can admit that. Back then, while with a very special woman at the time, I just did not see. I didn't see it. It was like that old saying, like if you're too deep in the forest, you can't see past the trees or something like that. I just couldn't see it. And then I ended up gaining a ton of weight. I ended up being 287 pounds. I'm 6'5", just to give a reference. So I was very much out of shape. And, I wasn't really speaking to many people. Most of my family has passed away. And those that remain, I don't really have a lot of contact with. So I was pretty much on my own. My lady at the time, she tried to motivate me as best she could. But you know what? It's very difficult. It's very difficult to recognize you have an issue. It is. It's very difficult. But for me, I managed to find my way out, and I think that maybe this video may help you find a way out, or if not you, maybe somebody you know, and you could share this to that person that may benefit from these words because, drinking alcohol is not in and out of itself a bad thing. Yes. Is it unhealthy? Yes. But like they say, everything in moderation. And I feel like what happened to me was I was so depressed and frustrated with the way things are going in my life. Here at the time, 2015, 2017, I was with, this woman, this angel of a woman, and we were living together, and I couldn't find any meaningful work. I applied to the city. I was denied or some really ridiculous nonsense. So I just felt like the things I wanted to do as a man to provide for my woman at the time, it just was not working. So that chipped away at my male ego that really put me in a bad place mentally. And while I've never done a drug in my life, thankfully, knock on wood, but I turned to alcohol, and I was literally drinking to escape my reality. I would literally wake up. I would wake up and reach for the bottle. It was crazy, and it just so happened that is what the final argument between me and this particular woman we had. It was over a bottle of liquor. A several year relationship gone down the toilet because of a bottle of liquor. So moving forward, years after recognizing, okay, I was the problem, I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to do this to myself. And it was painful. And maybe you might be dealing with something. And I like to say this goes beyond just alcohol. It could be drugs. It could be you being overweight. It could be you just excessively snacking. We each have bullshit that we're trying to resolve, whether or not we acknowledge it or not, whether or not we even are aware of it or not. For me, it was depression and alcohol. For you, it might be you being overweight. It might be you being on drugs. It might be you being very, very, you procrastinate a lot. You don't finish the things that you say that you're going to start. It could be anything. And this is just one of those videos. I use the fact that it's December 30th, 2024. I'm using this as an excuse in a way to kind of get this out there so that maybe we can have a much better 2025 and accomplish the things that we truly need and want to. I can tell you how it felt if you're not an alcoholic yourself. I can tell you what it felt like for me. It felt like every single time I had a drink and I got nice, all of the bad shit that was going on, all of the negative feelings I had was just eliminated. It was out of my mind. And it got to the point where that feeling is what drove the alcoholism. That I wanted that escape. I wanted to not feel how I felt. I didn't want to feel like I was less than a man. I didn't want to feel like I wasn't in control. I just didn't want to feel. For you, it might be drugs. For you, it might be excessive eating. For you, it just might be going and closing yourself off from everybody. Whatever it is, I can understand and I can relate. And what really helped me get through it was something that it was like a light bulb hit me. I was 287 pounds and I recognized, holy shit, I'm 13 pounds away from 300. I lived in Flatbush Gardens in Flatbush, Brooklyn at the time. And we got those little steps that you got to go up. And it was crazy that I was a little bit winded. I was so out of shape, or in the fitness realm, we would call it deconditioned, that just simply walking around the block was a challenge. And I didn't like how I looked when I took my shirt off. I didn't feel attractive. I felt less than. And I just said, fuck this. We got to change. So a neighbor of mine had some weights. He had a 50-pound dumbbell. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me take that. And I started just curling a little bit. And I eventually started to go out, walk around the block. But, the premise of this, the point, is sometimes you don't have to change big. If you're trying to lose weight, you don't have to completely cut out everything from your diet. Small incremental changes is all you need, because that's the changes that I made. Because at the time, I was still drinking, but I was not drinking as much. And eventually, little by little, eventually I got to the point where I wasn't drinking at all. And I cleaned up my diet. I became more active. And I eventually, rectified my situation. And I think it's very important to recognize that when you have a problem, if you're trying to eliminate that problem in one shot, like one hit, one kill, you're probably setting yourself up for failure. You have to chip away at it, because the problem did not manifest itself overnight. It's like somebody who's overweight. You did not get overweight overnight. You got overweight over the course of time. So over the course of time, doing the opposite of what you were doing to get overweight, if you do that over time, you will lose weight. For me, it was the same thing conceptually with alcohol, that I had to recognize, one, I have a problem, and two, we need to address this. How are we going to address this? And I leaned into the things that give me the most joy in my life, and that is video games, music, and fitness. Now, those things might be different for you. Those things might be different. But whatever those things are, you lean into those things and you have those be your anchor. Because your friends and family, people that care about you, they can't change for you. They can support your change. They can motivate your change. But you are the one that's going to have to recognize that you have a problem, that you want to fix this problem, and in turn, you have to come up with the discipline to keep the change, the things that you need to correct the situation over the course of time. Because, see, the thing is, you can be motivated to do anything, but I've learned that motivation is very fleeting. You can be motivated to go to the gym this week, and then next week you're like, screw it, I'm not going to do nothing. There is a big difference between motivation and discipline. And if I had to choose between the two, I will always side with discipline, because discipline is, like Mike Tyson said, it's doing something that you hate but acting like you love it. You're going to do it regardless. Because some, if not all, of the most successful people financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, they all had one thing in common: discipline. Because there are going to be times where it's not going to be ideal for you to do X, Y, and Z. You might not feel up to doing X, Y, and Z, but it's those times where it matters the most. Because when you skip off a day, it's very easy to make it 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, a week, and then now you're back in the same hole. So for me, I made a drastic change. No more alcohol. I made sure to walk long distances, at least long for me at the time, about 2 miles every day. And then I scaled it back to about 4 days a week, doing about 3 miles, three-ish miles. Basically, like if you're in Brooklyn, that's like the equivalent of walking around Prospect Park on the inside. Doing that every day for 4 days a week, and making sure that I drastically cut down on all of the caloric dense meals and foods and shit like that. And over the course of time, I got right. And these are some of the things that you probably need to do for yourself. Now, everybody has their own challenges, right? My challenge, as I said prior, was alcohol and depression. Maybe your challenge is something entirely different. But I would urge, for 2025, you be your best self. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to do the best that you can. Whether it's if you have the desire to start your own YouTube channel, if you have the desire to lose weight, if you have the desire to get off drugs, if you have the desire to get off alcohol, whatever it might be, you be your best self. Because I'm living proof. If I can do it, I believe that you can as well. Now, I'm not perfect. Believe me, I used to be homeless. I'm alone. Every now and then I do get a little depressed, but I just focus more on my fitness. I play my video games. I focus on making these videos, and with the hopes that my aim for 2025 is to become monetized on YouTube. And maybe even potentially, do some Twitch streaming, from a video game standpoint. Your goals may be different, but the general premise is whatever your goals are, you need to be disciplined. You need to lock in. Now, that doesn't mean kick everybody out, because there are people out there that do love you, that want to see you succeed, just like there are people that want to see your downfall. I believe if you give people a chance, they will slowly reveal themselves, who they are, who they really are. If a person is for you, it'll come out. It will definitely come out. But if you don't trust that and you really want to do it alone, That's always an option. And more so than ever, you definitely need to be dialed in, locked in, have great amount of discipline so that you can see your mission through the end, whatever that is. For me, it's building my YouTube channel. I currently have, I think, 239 subscribers, and I'm very appreciative of each and every one. But it's definitely, I'm looking for more. I'm greedy, and we each on our own journey. And I just urge for you, if there's maybe 4 or 5 of you watching this video, to have 2025 be your best year. Anyway, uh, if you're not already subscribed, do that. I will be making another video, just basically just detailing my own journey and how it may or may not relate to you, and going in depth into my future plans. But I just wanted to just kind of just speak on this real quick, and I don't know, I just felt like getting off my chest. Anyway, take care, peace.